New potentially thorny issue this morning for Hillary Clinton. Hillary's brother, Tony Rodham, under scrutiny for using the Clintons' help with various business projects. This as more questions arise about transparency at the Clinton Foundation.
All right, let's weigh in what we know right now. CNN political commentator, Washington correspondent for The New Yorker, Ryan Lizza, and CNN political analyst and presidential campaign correspondent for The New York Times, Maggie Haberman. All right, so let's start with the professional, and then we'll move into the personal with Hillary's brother. 3 years they didn't report all of the things they were supposed to report about nations donating to the foundation. Can it still be, Maggie, a bookkeeping oversight that will be corrected?
You just pointed to the exact problem. Their defense on everything has been, we are transparent. We've put it on the website. Everybody can see it. You can find what you need. And then we keep hearing about, actually, this wasn't there, and this wasn't there, and this wasn't there. And so at a certain point, they are going to, I think, get pressed to do greater disclosures or to be more open or to invite people in to look at their books. But I don't think the status quo is going to hold.
But Ryan, I mean, the fact that they didn't put it on their website, doesn't that suggest that they weren't altogether comfortable with the funds that they were getting from foreign contributors?
Yeah, look, this was not an issue that the press just invented, right? As a condition of Hillary Clinton becoming Secretary of State, the Obama administration and Hillary Clinton said, okay, we have this foundation, we have some issues here, this could be a potential conflict of interest, so here's how we're going to solve that. We're going to have this full transparency. So the fact that it was just full of holes, one, the Clintons themselves were not doing a good job keeping track of this, and two, I think it raises questions about the Obama administration. Why are they enforcing this agreement? Why weren't they going back to the Clinton Foundation and saying, hey, we had a deal
here? But that
here.
would mean that they knew about it.
Well, it would mean that there was some auditing by the by the Obama administration saying, remember, as a condition of you coming in as Secretary of State, we had this deal. We want to make sure that you are fully providing the complying.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think right now they stay pretty focused on the Clintons in terms of, who's to blame if anything went wrong here. Lanny Davis came on the show, and of course he was Bill's, general counsel. So I mean, you expect him to be it. But he says there's no proof. Where's the proof that somebody got something from the administration, from the U.S., from one of the Clintons in exchange for what they gave?
He's not wrong about that. That is a fair point, and that has been the response to this Peter Schweitzer book is, look, you've shown a lot of quid, but not so much pro quo. The problem, I think, for her, and I think for them in general, is that the secondary answer that you get repeatedly, as we were talking about with these disclosures, is this was sloppiness, this was a mismanaged thing. That is going to be, I think, the argument Republicans are going to start using is not corruption, but about a competence question.
It's also the standard of proof. Where's the proof is when Allison is trying to bust me in criminal court. You know what I mean? But if it's about politics and trust, it's about semblance of impropriety. Something that smells bad is what you're supposed to avoid.
And look, if you're saying disclosure is the antiseptic here, then your disclosure has to be perfect,
right?
And it's going to make it very hard for Hillary Clinton, if she's the nominee, to press a case against a Republican candidate when big money in politics is going to be a big issue, and she's going to have a problem doing that.
Okay, let's talk about this new reporting from the New York Times. New old. I mean, Tony Rodham has cropped up from time to time, right, through the Clintons, because the allegation is that Hillary Clinton's younger brother has parlayed his relationship with Bill and Hillary Clinton throughout the years to come up with sometimes dubious business deals for himself. Maggie,
you just laid it pretty well right there. I mean, look, there has been an ongoing focus on the brothers Rodham, right, on Tony and Hugh Rodham, Hillary Clinton's brothers. And there is a sense of sort of a ne'er-do-well or hanging on or looking for help. What was striking about the story that my colleague Steve Eater did is there are these court transcripts where Tony Rodham openly says, I leaned on my brother-in-law to help me. I went through the Clinton Foundation. I mean, he says this. That type of stuff, I think, is very unhelpful. That you were going to see in attack mailers. You were going to see that potentially in ads. That, I think, is worth it.
We have a little excerpt. Let me just quickly read an excerpt from this article in the New York Times. It says here, when Mr. Rodham was short on cash in 2010, Mr. Clinton helped him get a job for $72,000 a year, raising investments in Green Tech Automotive, an electric car company then owned by Terry McAuliffe, an old friend of Mr. Clinton.